It's, all right, let's try this. I'm going to mute Sam and I'm going to talk and see if I can hear anything. It's Sam again, isn't it? No, Bruce, if you you mute, then it's just one of you two again.
Oh, sorry, mate. Not this time.
Yeah, I think it's yeah, Sam, it's you. What is it that does that? You're always on delay.
Is it? How far? Do the test.
Bruh. That's
Gate.
lag. So when I've said that, it's about a 2-second delay. Can you hear it as well, Bruce?
Yeah, I just muted myself and I can still hear it.
Yeah,
Okay, then right. Just I won't jump in. Then I'll just speak when spoken to. That's the easiest way to get around that one.
This is the stuff that people who
right, mute then, Sam. That would work well. That's it. Right, just leave him there for the hour now.
Can you hear me?
You sound beautiful, Mike.
I've got some new headphones.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is the joy things that you miss. If we actually had Patreon or something, this is what those fools would be paying their extra £3 a month for. Just us asking this, and I'll be honest, this is about as good as the content's going to get this weekend. What did you do with your extra time, Bruce?
Mike's in the bedroom though, isn't he? That's a bit of gossip.
It is.
It looks very. Show us your quilt, Mike. Let's see. Is it pretty? Is it a nice one?
No, it's like a flowery thing.
Dog had fleas this week.
The dog had fleas.
The dog had fleas. It had fleas. We found. Yeah. So that's what I did with my extra time.
In answer to your question, mate, I went out yesterday afternoon and I got leathered, basically. You'll be surprised to hear.
That is so unlike you, mate.
I know. We have it was our Monday night football. We're all like 40 somethings. Well, there's a few younger lads that play and a few that are in the 50s, but we get 10 aside every week, and we've got a reserve list of about 8. So there's nearly 30 keen footballers. And we go out twice a year, once to the races in the summer at Market Raising for Ladies' Day. And we go out, and it was the Christmas drinks because, let's be honest.
Why Ladies' Day?
As I say, it's a Christmas drinks. And we went out in January because it works. Nobody does anything. There's about 3 weekends in December before Christmas. Everybody's busy. And basically, you pay a little bit extra each week. And we went out and spent £700 on booze last night in the hostelries of Grimsby, which is, our bit for the economy, I guess. In January.
How many bushes did you go in, mate?
My name is Sharon.
I did get. I got a free train ride there and back from Cleethorpes. That was good.
Oh, getting that free ride is the best. Is literally the only Grimsby hack in transport, isn't it?
Mate, it was ace.
Do they actually have barriers up at Grimsby? I haven't used the trains in Grimsby and Cleethorpes for years. Do they have barriers up?
No, you just get on the train. You just walk in and get on the train. So anyway, yeah. But we went out because the town game was off. We went out a bit early, and I was probably 2 pints too early because we went out I got in the county at about half past 3, 3:45, and we were supposed to be meeting at 6. Well, by 10 o'clock, I'd had my fill. We left the barge, and the lads were going back to. I think we're going back to Bank, and
yeah, I've had dates like that, Bren.
And anyway, I was starving because I'd drunk through tea, so I went to Mackey's for a food fix. And then the lads had all disappeared, and somebody had mentioned going back to Cleethorpes. So I looked on my little app on the phone to see what time the next train was, and I literally just like walked straight through the station, and the train was just literally sat there. Another 30 seconds, and I'd have had to go and find them in the pub because I would have been another hour waiting for the train. But yeah, sat and just munched me Mackies, and then got a taxi from outside. Walked up past where the Bar C used to be, and got a taxi from outside Swashy.
Okay,
about 8 pints.
When you get that train, you don't have to pay for that little Grimsby to Cleethorpes, but it's like you've just got one up on society, isn't it? It's the best feeling in the world.
It is ace, and the thing is, the alternative is you either pay the 35 quid in a 5-minute taxi or a 10-minute taxi, or you get the bus which rattles round the Grimsby and Cleethorpes for about 40. It's just ace. The train, even if you've got to pay for it, it's about 250, and it's just like drops you right in the middle of town in about I think 7 minutes or 8 minutes or something. It's good.
I'll be honest. This is. I don't want to break a covenant, but Bruce questioned something about 5 minutes before the pod started, saying, "Look, we've got to make sure previews are a bit shorter because if not, people will just waffle on about their clubs. We're missing out on this content when they do."
Now Bruce has admitted that he's broken the rules of the railways. He's going to get a spot fine sent in the post, isn't
No,
he?
Yeah, I'll tell you something.
I would have paid.
So somebody could
round.
tag British Transport Police in this on Twitter, then they'll be sending you a charge in the post.
Ben
Yeah,
says
that's
he
a good
always
idea,
thought there
Ben.
should be a shuttle service between Grimsby and Cleethorpes, but it's only a one-line thing, Ben. Maybe we should do maybe we should. Sam would probably suggest this and encourage this. Maybe we should have a community-led train service. Whatever Cameron used to call it, big society or whatever it is. Don't make us pay. Yeah, I don't think we've got anything else to talk about really. So thanks very much for joining us, and we'll see you all next week.
Nice to see you guys. Bye.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay, we'll keep the jingle in.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
What a magnificent piece of football! Really, really good goal! You can't let this one go wrong. Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it. What have you started, Bruce? Good evening, everybody. Mike, Andrew Niles says Mick Lynch will be after you, Bruce. Ben, who is very devoted to this already, saying maybe something like the Stourbridge shuttle, which unfortunately I'm nerdy enough to know about. So, you've started something. Good evening, everybody. It is a podcast without a game to review. We'd actually done some precursor. If not, we'd have all been having a night off. We've got people from Luton coming on. And Crawley, who I'd entirely forgotten we're playing on Tuesday night. So I've now got something to do, at least on Tuesday evening. Sam is here in deepest, darkest, out the suburbs of London. How are you?
How's the delay?
Yeah, it's fine. There's no delay. It was the reverb is the wrong word, but I could hear what you were saying like a couple of seconds later, and it makes me sound drunk because I'm then focusing on myself speaking again.
He was still talking about Harrogate, wasn't he? That's how bad the delay was when we first started.
Can't get Conservatives not talking about Harrogate. I love it. Mike, how are you?
Living the
There
dream,
we
mate.
go.
How are
He's
you?
back again. Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good. I'm not doing too bad. The people are taking the mick out of my knitwear. I got it, Simon. I got it from Costco. Though I probably, even for a big lad like me, I probably got it a bit too big. Yeah, I'm good.
Maybe you could let me know where you got it from. I'm a big bloke as well. Always like a bit of knitwear.
Exactly. And Bruce is here as well. We dragged him on because he didn't. I'll be honest, Bruce didn't want to be here. You can understand why.
I actually feel better as the day's gone. I've even put some shelves up that haven't fallen down yet. So we've
listen out for them later on in the podcast, people.
My dad doesn't listen, but I must give him a shout out because I was messing about with our shitty little cheap ass drill that we've got at home, and it was just like I was all right going through the plaster, and then it hit the brick, and I was just like holding the drill against the wall. It was just like sort of, and then my dad said, "Oh, I've got this industrial thing," and I mean the house did shake after we'd gone around to pick it up. It did shake, but it certainly went through the wall. I was a bit concerned at one point it come out the other side in the front room, but yeah. So Claire's really happy with me. I'm in the good books that I've put up some shelves for this afternoon. So, yeah.
Do you not have a hammer drill?
A what? It is a hammer drill. I've tried. Oh, mate, I tried it in hammer mode. Bloody all sorts of. I don't know what I'm doing. I just pressed all the buttons and like, oh, that looks like a drill.
It's usually the one that looks like a hammer.
Yeah, well, I did that, and I could have hit the wall harder than this shitty drill was that Claire's dad bought us for Christmas a few years ago.
I mean,
anyway, my dad's drill was better than Claire's dad's drill. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, so Simon comes with a reasonable question as well to say, do you think the Crawley game is actually likely to go ahead? Well, me and Mike are quite southerly based to Crawley. I don't think it is. It's been bloody freezing here today and yesterday.
I think if things are left how they are, no. But I did see somebody say somewhere that they had a Brighton women's game down there in the Premier League, and they sent a dome down to make sure.
Oh yeah, they've got the Brumbrolly, haven't they?
Yeah, so it depends if that gets picked up Monday or Tuesday, I think.
The Brumbrella.
So I think it would be if they just left to their own devices, no. But hello.
Sam's unmuted.
Sam's unmuted. He hasn't learned. Yeah. I'll only speak when I'm spoken to.
Sorry, the dome didn't work. The Brighton game got called off. The Brighton women's game got called off today.
All right, there we go. Thanks, Sam. You're missing on my parade, aren't you? No, it won't be on there. No chance. So we'll be playing Luton on Saturday.
Surely they should be all right, though. It just depends. They must have enough heat generated from the bloody PCs that are mining in the dressing rooms and stuff. That must be.
I know.
That must kick off some heat.
That's what I'm thinking. Hang on, look at this. For an actual guest, we're actually joined by Matt Dannett, who I finally suggested to come onto the podcast, mostly for his own welfare more than anything.
Oh, the king of the happy clappers.
Round of applause for Matt. How is it in your fair kingdom of happy clapping, Matt?
There he is.
Oh dear, he's got a delay.
He's still on Slade's first season, but it's delay, isn't he?
Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, all good. All good. I don't know if my...
oh, he's back.
No, I'm still here. The was causing issues. So.
Is this how you always do your work? Is it? So, Matt, quick question while you're here, because I know you're slightly worried. How have you found this transfer window for your sanity? And what are your actual? What's your opinion of how is everything going? We'll touch on everybody else later.
I'm sort of, as I've sort of said a few times on there, I think it's really difficult to judge a transfer window until it's finished. But I've said that for the last however many transfer windows, as I've been reminded on Twitter on multiple occasions that I've said that a lot. I think clearly Ersty's finding it tough. I don't think I'm supposed to call him Ersty because people think I'm being too pally, and I never criticise the man apparently. So, but yeah, I'm finding it tough. I think it's finding it tough. I think it's a tough market. That said, we do need to bring someone in. That's a fact that's not lost on Jason, Paul, anyone who stepped foot inside Blundell Park recently. Everyone knows we need a striker. We need someone to replace what's missing with Taylor. He's been a massive miss. But yeah, it's clearly a really difficult window. Available strikers seem to be a bit of a premium, or should I say, available strikers that want to come to us, and all the sort of, not to use an ism from someone from our not so distant past, but all the ducks to be in a row and for everything to be aligned, and we're just sort of looking for that perfect Venn diagram, aren't we? Where that available player seems to be in the middle of all these intersecting circles that need to align to get them to come here. So,
I mean,
it's tough. It's tough.
You've been you've been privileged to be sort of slightly more behind the scenes than most of us on a transfer window, and with Hurst especially. What is a takeaway? Like, I'm a bloody educator. What would you say is the underrepresented sort of activity that's going on that people might not necessarily have thought about?
Well, it'll probably be a bit of a cliche. Probably everyone who's listening will be rolling their eyes, but like it just doesn't stop. He is relentless. Him, Chris, they never stop. And not to use sort of a Holloway, the phone melt into his ear kind of thing, but I just remember from in the years that I was privileged enough to sort of cover the club and sort of speaking to people in the press and comms team at the club throughout those sort of deadline days that I remember, even throughout the winter. He just doesn't stop trying to bring his targets in, and I think both him and Jason have said they've got the targets, they're working to them. But I just think it's proving difficult. But every window is the same. Every window is the same in that it will. I'm confident. I'm fairly confident it will get busier the closer we get, because we're not at the top of a lot of people's lists, at the top of a lot of players' lists. It's fact. We're competing in a really difficult market, and we might not be a lot of players' first choice, whether that's from a footballing perspective, from a destination perspective. I know people don't like to harp on about the location point. I think it is a bit overstated at times, but I think it is a really important consideration that players, especially at the minute with like cost of living and all of that, which I don't think people are really factoring in. Like it is a really tough market, and it has made it increasingly difficult, and it always has been difficult for us, and it's increasingly so this season. But I do think the market, I do think it will get busier. I do think things will start to move. The optimist in me, and I know people criticise me for being an optimist, but the optimist in me thinks that the relative quietness of the bar market is because we are biding our time and waiting for maybe a player who said to us, well, I won't sign straight away. I'll see what I can get, and I might come back to you. It might come back our way towards the closer we get towards the end of the window. But as I've said to a few people on Twitter, I don't think you can judge it before it's shut. So let's see what we get come the end of the month, and then we can judge whether it's been a successful or a failure of a window, really. But I do think I should just say I think Mike O'Neill looks a good sign. I like the look of him. I think he's sort of out of the more of the Richardson mold when we're talking about promising loanees, rather than, no disrespect to the other lads that we've had that maybe haven't made an impact. I think he's closer to what we need at the minute, and I think he'll prove to be a really good signing for us, hopefully. So that was a long answer.
No, I don't mind it. And as a grammar alum, where are we with Charles Vernon? I assume you're all in some sort of WhatsApp group together talking about shares and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. If there was a case of grammar WhatsApp alum, that I'd have been kicked out a long time ago, I think. I haven't seen the Bolingo around Laceby. So.
Is that breaking Bolingo news, Alex? We haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, we have seen some. We might come back to that later if we're low on content.
All that work doing that jingle, you used it 1 week.
Hang on, we can use it again. I got to find it though.
Oh, it's too late now.
Oh, is it too late? Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, you've got the music. The problem, we got the music.
The news is there is no news.
There was one day when the BBC in like the 30s said there was no news, and just played the national anthem instead.
Everything is fine.
But yeah, that's amazing.
Just something to pick up there from Matt. I mean, it's quite true. We spoke last week about the window and the location of Grimsby. It is a factor, and it's one of these things you have to either realize it's a factor or ignore it and just be oblivious to it, and that's not good. But I think what some people forget is if you can't appeal on your location, you have to try and appeal on another way. So all the investment that's going on behind the scenes into the training facilities, into the setup of the club, how they look after players, all these different things, coaching staff, that is things we can win on. So whilst people criticise about investing in things other than off the pitch, you've got to pick the battles you can win. And if you can't win on location, we'll win on the project, win on how we look after you, i.e. Sean Scannell, win on
jobs for
the support.
£5.
Yeah, hand jobs for a £5, or win on how you're going to develop. So you've got to try and play the hand you've got, but make it the best hand you can. You're not going to win on location.
Quite like you.
Yeah.
I do think as well. It's a big ship to turn around. Like, we are still.
Did he say ship?
I did say shit. Yeah.
I mean, shit is also relevant.
But we've got a lot. I can't remember who I saw it was on Twitter. It might have been Bruce. I might be wrong, but someone said about they were talking to some players or family of players from back in the day, and that sort of that old perception, or what I hope is now an old perception, an outdated perception of who we are and what we are as a club. That sticks a little bit. That lingers, and I think we are starting to, like we've seen with the way we've tracked Sean Scannell and stood by him throughout his injury and little things like that. The improvements at the training ground, because the training ground is better. You speak to James McEwen and Sean Pearson, lads who were here previous and now sort of seeing the way it's improved now. I think we are starting to make gradual improvements, as I know it's a sort of a watchword of Jason and Andrews, but we are starting to continually improve. But in terms of moving us up that list of players who, when they look at us as a viable option, that's going to take some time. But I think, as Mike said, the stuff that we're doing off the pitch, the gradual improvement, those will start to pay dividends for us soon. I'm confident and or optimistic again. But yeah, it's going to take time. It's going to take a long time for us to turn that perception around a little bit, I think.
I'm in day. Go on then, Bruce.
I can't wait. You didn't have, just because I put my hand up, you didn't have to come straight to me.
No, I didn't know if you wanted to be excused or something.
No, you're all right, sir. I'm going to stay and listen to the rest of the lesson this time. No, all I was going to say is that I think what we don't always think about as well is, I mean, what Matt's saying is right, but you'd like to think that if any agent worth his soul is going to sort of, Grimsby are interested in you, then it doesn't. I know what people are saying, but you'd think that the agent would say, right, what's going on at Grimsby? Oh, they've got a new owner. They wouldn't just say, oh, that fence is shit. You know, you don't want to go. You know, do you know what I mean? You would. I know that you would like to think that, and if we approach somebody, someone's going to look at what's going on at the club now. That may be a bit sort of. But then I think what I don't always think about as well is that we've been perennial strugglers. If you're a league footballer and you want to stay in the league, you look at Grimsby, and since 2010, we've either been towards the bottom of League Two or we've been in non-league. You know, we've not been a club that looks like it might go places. So we might also be failing. You know, we talk about a project and what's going on, but they might be looking at, well, if I go to Grimsby, I might drop out of the league because that's the sort of team that they are. That's the sort of club that they are. That's maybe something that I've not considered. You know, when we struggle to attract players, that, and it might take another season or two to sort of us to be mid-table, upper mid-table, hopefully pushing for the playoffs maybe next season, for players to, you know, for some of the top players in the league to consider coming to us.
Absolutely. I completely agree with that. It's not just off the pitch; it's also on the pitch. We've got to sort of prove ourselves and establish ourselves again. I think in a lot of players' minds that it is. I think it is the whole package. But you're absolutely right, Bruce. It's what are we as a football club? Do they see us as a stable sort of set League Two side?
Matt, feel free to sort of stick around. We're gonna go and have a quick chat with the guys from Luton, who might well be even able to tell us exactly how you do sort of take, let's face it, an unfancied club and move them up the leagues. I mean, granted, they're helped by their location slightly better than we are, but they might well have some insight that we don't. Because let's be honest, that ground tour for either of our teams is exactly the same one. Don't show them that room. Don't let them in that room. Don't show them that side of the stand.
You must drive in via this route to the ground.
Yeah, this route only.
Every other road that is closed. Don't come in through the docks. You've got to come back in the back way.
Yeah, exactly. Unless they're after the £5 for the hand job thing. Right, we'll be back in 2 seconds, and we'll be joined by Dave from the When the Town podcast at Luton, which I'm pretty sure we have some copyright on, don't we, with that sort of name? We'll see. We'll talk to you in a sec.
Behind, so that's the final action of the game, which means Grimsby Town are back in the Football League just a year after those awful scenes.
And as always, we are joined by, let's face it, a banter. I'm going to go with Banter Club, who sent us Bin Pepple for shits and giggles, I assume. A club that have seemed to have broken John McAtee without even playing him yet. And the only club that has a ground probably worse than Blundell Park. We are joined by Dave. It's a pleasure to meet you. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me on. I'm looking forward to the chat.
Yeah.
And thanks for the intro, by the way, because everybody likes our ground, don't they? Let's be fair.
I mean, we're fighting a battle on the two-way street then for that. It's for some reason the Harrogates, the Fleetwoods, and the Suttons get totally ignored when our clubs come up and go, oh god, this isn't a dog shit alley and alike.
It's true.
But I guess you must have been as ecstatic as we were when the FA Cup fourth round draw was made. A plum tie at home. What was the general reaction from Luton fans?
Well, we had this discussion on our podcast ourselves, and I would say there are two ways of looking at it, really. Firstly, for us being in the Championship now and being a pretty good Championship team, if I might say so, you look at the draw and think, well, this should be winnable for us. That's how I looked at it straight away. I mean, to be fair, I don't think Luton Town will win the FA Cup. And I don't think Grimsby Town will win the FA Cup. So we're all looking for that. We're looking for that prize draw, aren't we? We're looking for that really, really good draw where we can go and have that away day experience and a massive stadium. Your Tottenhams, your Man Uniteds, all those sort of people. That's who we want to play because we know we're not going to get to Wembley. Although now, and this is sounding really bad, and I hope you take this the way it's meant. When we drew you, I thought, well, do you know what? If we can beat Wigan, then we might have a good chance of progressing to the next round, to the fifth round. But I'm not taking anything for granted whatsoever because we've had some battles in our times when we played you guys. And I'm disappointed that we got you because I wanted the big away draw. And then I reevaluated and I thought to myself, well, maybe we have a chance now to push on. There's no arrogance there meant at all. But, given both our statuses at the moment, we expect to do well. Having said that, we lost to Newport in the Carabao Cup. So, who knows what's going to happen. That's how I look at it. So I think there was disappointment, but then optimism, if that's the right word.
Dave, have you been making many changes to the team, Dave? Because a friend of mine lives in Wigan, funnily enough, Grimsby fan, and he went to watch the game on the replay last week, and he said that he thought that both teams looked poor. Had you made a lot of changes in that game? Do you make many changes for the Cup at Championship level?
To be fair, I felt we had a very, very strong team out when we played Wigan at home, and they almost did us that night. For the luck of an offside goal, we would have been out. When we went to their place, we changed maybe one or two players. One through Carlton Morris through injury, but the rest of the team was pretty strong. And then the replay, we put out a fairly strong team. I think our strength in depth is really good at this moment in time. So. We haven't changed much, no, not at all. We're putting out a properly strong team, and it's good to see because the new manager is there, and he's looking to see which players are his best players. Since Nathan's gone, I've found that there's been a big change in the way that we're playing, and I feel it's a positive measure. And the squad is quite good. The squad is quite good. So no, we might have been poor in your mate's eyes, but. We did a job, and I think that's what all that counts. And if you win 1-0 scrappy, who cares? But the squad is good, and so I suppose the easier answer is no. We didn't make a lot of changes. A couple of forced changes, and maybe one or two people coming back into the team, and calling back players from getting fit again. So no, No, it wasn't a big change. Maybe one or two. I mean, Jordan Clark, regular. When we went back to Wigan this year, I'm just thinking, who did we change? We changed Carlton Morris. We put Cornick up front. Who's, Cornick's a regular first teamer anyway, but he hasn't been starting as much as everybody else. So no, it's a fairly strong team. Poor or not, we've got the result, and I think that's the main thing, isn't it? When you watch the team.
Yeah. Sorry, it was maybe just a scrappy game. It was maybe he maybe just wasn't a great game.
No, to be fair, it wasn't a great game until we scored, and then it's a great game for me. When you're watching your own team, it doesn't care how bad it is, do you? You just think, if we win, it's worth it, really. Let's be fair. We've played better than we've played against Wigan. We've been on a run. We beat Queen's Park Rangers, when we beat Norwich, and then we beat Huddersfield. We've had some really top top games, playing the top, 2 or 3 teams in the league. And the FA Cup is a distraction, isn't it? Let's be fair. And I think everybody wants to win the FA Cup in their head, but we all know, realistically, it's going to be a very difficult thing to do. When we were in your position, I'd be going, I wouldn't want to play Luton. That's what I would be saying. I would want Manchester United. I would want Tottenham. I would want Arsenal. So, that's where I look at it. But the reverse thing is, if we get you on a bad day and we're on form, then I think Luton can get to the 5th round. And that's how I look at it.
Yeah, it's a shame it's not the mid-90s, and I'd be feeling far more confident of absolutely hammering you, because that used to be the way of it.
I genuinely said earlier, we've had some battles. We've had some battles in quite, the different types of leagues we played in, and I'd always go, "Oh, bloody hell, we're playing Grimsby, and this is going to happen." And there's been some brilliant games we played together. I just feel at the moment, because we're on a bit of a roll, out of the playoffs last year, we've played quite well this season. We're in a better position than we were this time last season. We're in a better position. Our home form, though, is dreadful. And that's the big thing. Our home form is dreadful. And that's the only thing that I worry about.
Well, I mean, if we've taken out half of... Sorry. No, go ahead, Bruce. I talk enough.
I was going to say, I think complacency may be... like you say, amongst perhaps some of your fans, your newer fans, and well, it doesn't really matter whether they're new or not, because we've been shit for a long time, but and we're not at the same level anymore. But yeah, like you say, sort of 15, 20 minutes in, if we can keep it tight and it's not great, maybe like you say, if your home form's not great, maybe sort of frustration of players and fans, which means we'll concede after about 2 minutes, but is maybe something we can try and sort of pick at.
I would say I don't think anyone's think it's going to be a walkover, not at all. I think you've got to be realistic. We've come a long way from when we got back into the league. We stepped up the divisions. We've been really fortunate how we've got to where we are. We're playing good football most of the time. Our home form is dreadful. We've won 3 games at home. But our away form is the opposite. We've won 8 games away, I think. And, it's almost a mirror of what we've done at home, but the reverse for away. But I don't think any Luton fans taking this game as an easy win. Not at all. Because we're not stupid. Because, it's the FA Cup. You're right. If you can keep us out for the 20 minutes and you get a couple of chances and you score, then, it's a different game, isn't it? It's a different game altogether. So I don't think anyone's, sitting there going, "Oh, this is going to be an easy try." Not at all. Not at all. And if you're my age, you'd know that too. You can never expect anything else. The FA Cup, if you're playing in the FA Cup as an underdog, you're always going for it, aren't you? Let's be fair.
Yeah, absolutely. And what sort of who are we meant to be looking out for? Who are the danger guys? I assume Peppel isn't playing, so we don't have to worry about him.
But I don't know that you like that guy at all, to be fair. Who do you look out for? Well, Carlton Morris is not fit at the moment, so we were hoping he would come back. But if not, you've got to look out for Jordan Clark in the midfield. He's amazing. He's such a brilliant player. We got him for next to nothing or nothing. I can't remember how much, even if we had to pay a fee for him. Jordan Clark is a dynamo in the midfield, as is Aaron Campbell, who, when we signed him, he was coming from Scotland, and he was really looked at as a major signing by all the Scottish fans. Were going, he's such a brilliant guy. And to begin with, I thought he wasn't that, but at the moment he is unstoppable. Adebayo's just found his form, so at the front, he's the guy that will score. Cornick's quick. We're a bit light in defence at the moment because of injury, but so the major guys you need to look out for is Campbell, Clark, and Adebayo. And if Morris is playing, then you've got to pray he's not on form, because when he's on form, he's going to score. That's how I look at him. He's such a good player, but he's been injured, so and he hasn't played for the last couple of games. So I'm hoping he's on his way back. And if Morris is on form, he will score, because that's how good I think he is.
Terrifying, brilliant.
But it's true.
Great stuff. I mean, Dave, thank you so much. It'll be nice to go. It'll go there, but I think this round quite clearly shows the FA Cup absolutely hates Grimsby Town and will continue to show us the disrespect we do not deserve. But good luck for the championship, rocking the shit venue flag for the rest of us, and we hope we get to join you shortly, because it might be a bit of a time.
Well, it'd be fun to see you in the same division as us. As long as you come up and we don't come down, that'd be fantastic.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Dave. Have a nice day. See you later.
Thanks.
Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, Dave.
There we go. So, I mean, FA Cup coming up. What are your guys' thoughts on what's going to be happening at Luton? It's going to be a pretty it feels almost like a regular league game, which must sound stupid to Luton fans who haven't played us since 2017.
We're going to need a striker. We've only got Orsi available.
Yeah, Orsi, that's it, isn't it, Bruce? Have we got anybody else?
Only striker got available, isn't it? To us, apart from like Mikey, I don't know if he's tied. I don't think he'll be eligible.
He'll have. Hopefully, he'll make a decision one way or the other on Kiernan, won't he? If Kiernan's still here, then he can play, can't he? Because don't forget, we put 5 past Plymouth without McAtee.
Without a striker, yeah, very true.
Do you think?
I don't think he. I either think he plays McAtee up top on his own, or he doesn't play. McAtee can't play, so ignore what I've said completely. Just work that out.
That's why we wanted Luton. That's why we wanted Wigan.
Load of shit I talk, honestly.
Is it controversial that we might actually, if we keep playing the formation we've been playing, we might actually look more of a goal threat without McAtee? I think you guys talked about this last week. If you've got someone like Kiernan down the middle with his pace, with Khan and somebody else on the other side, I just don't think the way we're playing at the moment, McAtee looks a goal threat.
No, I said last week, and I still.
I like how Dave is listening to this, terrified that we're talking about McAtee not being a goal threat. He's looking forward to next year.
I think we look a lot better when we're playing a midfield 3. I think we look a lot stronger when we're in games, and we keep more clean sheets. And I think not having McAtee available might make us do that. So yeah.
Luke is desperate to release. I assume that's Orsi. But I mean, we can release him, but I'm slightly worried he'd run back into the stables, petrified of being outside, because he hasn't shown much.
Every cup story's got a hero, Alex. Every cup story's got a hero.
What? Who was it? Laurie Sanchez? Didn't he find a striker on CFAX? Maybe we have to try that.
Roy Sando.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe we have to try that.
And I can remember a guy called Matt Halloran scored for from all the way back to 1989, the day that we beat Middlesbrough. He scored for Sutton against Coventry. You remember these people?
You know what it's crying out for? Sean Pearson up top on his own. I think that's the way to go.
The problem is I've got I've got a terrible idea that they probably practice that in training just in case.
He's our John O'Shea. He can play everywhere. In goal.
Just head it down, Sean. Just head it down, and we'll see who gets onto the end of it. I mean,
are you lads old enough
yeah.
to remember when? Sorry, Alex. Are you lads old enough to remember when Chef Wednesday stuck Paul Warhurst up front, and he was a defender?
Is that when they dicked us 7-1?
No, it was before that. But he was a defender. They stuck him up front, and I think it was when Blackburn were a bit of a money bags, and I think Blackburn bought him off Wednesday and played him as a forward. Yeah, he just stuck him up front one game, and he just kept banging in the goals, and it just carried on.
Has he still got his boots?
Is what? Sorry.
Has he still got his boots? Will I then?
I can't hear you very well, mate. It's not.
Oh, that's rude.
You do sound like you're on a tractor, Matt.
Yeah, apologies about this.
That's all right.
I won't be invited on again, will
I? Yeah, I'll just while you're not talking, I'll mute you because I think Mike's hearing it. But when you come on, just unmute. Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it? Where sort of Luton coming up, it doesn't feel a great tie. It feels like one that Wigan, you felt like there was a bit of hope. 1,000 tickets have been sold though, so we've still got the magic of the cup in us. You know, Harry Haddock's mate up and for sale. I assume Bruce has bought 6 or 7 of them already. But he's looking.
No, I haven't, mate. No, I haven't. I just messaged
Thanks.
Lisa to see how many tickets we'd sold, but you obviously know already, so that's all good. We should sell out, shouldn't we? It's the FA Cup 4th round. We haven't been here for 22 years or whatever it is.
I know. It takes you to some wonderful places.
Is it going to be a pod record turnout? Is the whole screen going? Are we all going?
Got me ticket today. I'm there.
I'm going.
I'm not going now. Yet. I'm not going now.
Go.
I want to know who's going to Crawley.
I'm going to Crawley.
There we go. Me and Sam are off to Crawley.
I'm going to Crawley.
Bruce is coming to Crawley.
Are you coming on Tuesday night, Bruce?
No, mate. I'm saving myself for a Tuesday night in Gillingham.
Someone's getting married, obviously. Then.
See you, Matt's shooting off. Not a car crash at all. We'll speak to you in a bit. See you later, mate. Nice to have you. No, it'd be good. Crawley will be. We got our second. Football. We're not going to, but we were all slightly worried about our, AI automated NFT that was entitled. Who was, I'll be honest, slightly more pessimistic than any of us during the 2009-2010 season. But I don't think we need to play the jingle again, do we? Welcome back. It is great to have you on. We've only got like 15 minutes with you, so you might have to cut this down a bit. But if this game goes ahead on Tuesday, what's been happening at Crawley? Are you going to be able to put a team out? And what is the fan base? What are the fans saying at the moment from what is a relatively entertaining view from a distance?
Yeah, with a team that everybody doesn't want to talk about but can't get enough of. There's so much going around the club. But as for like putting an 11 out, we actually have still 28 players. No, sorry, correct myself. 32 players still on our roster. So they're all kind of youth level. So maybe we'll put out a good team out there, but I don't know, honestly. Going into the Grimsby game, which might not even go ahead, the Brighton game I know got cancelled, and it's been 3 weekends now without a game, so I'm pretty sure the boys are well rested. But I have no idea, to be honest with you.
I'll be honest, you've become a bit of a cult hero on this podcast for what is not a positive outlook on the football.
We've been very worried.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the what has been the general consensus? We'll leave the stuff out from like John Yem and the like, because that's disgusting, and we'll talk about that in detail probably when on a less joyful occasion. But you've still got James Tilley, you've still got Jake Hessenthaler, you've got what's the makeup of well, our midfield from about 4 years ago? Is Telford still there as well? Are you still?
Telford is starting to find some form now. Yeah.
Okay, so you're starting to make some headway. What are the likelihoods that you continue with the same ownership you've got? So for those of you who don't know, bought out by crypto bros who are sort of making it up as they go along. What's been the general consensus in terms of what the future looks like for Crawley?
So we've gone through an entire rebuild of the whole squad. So as you probably know, that Nichols has gone, Glenn Morris has gone. Glenn Morris being, I would say, a club legend. I mean, he's not won anything with us, but he's been one of the best keepers we've ever had in our history, to be honest with you. So it's gutting to lose him. And we just recently lost James Balagizi. He came, was injured for a while, came back for a bit, and then he's gone back to Liverpool with the reoccurring injury. So it's not looking good. And we lost Ellery Balcom as well. So we're down to one goalkeeper in our entire squad. So that's how it's going so far.
Is he a good one or is he not?
No, he cannot save a free kick for his life. Good Lord.
This is going to be like what happens when an immovable object hits an unstoppable force or whatever it is. What does a terrible goalkeeper do when he comes up against no strikers? This could be quite an interesting battle.
Ryan Taylor's got 3 goals, hasn't he?
He's not playing. He's injured.
Oh, got three goals, but a fucked hamstring.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Glenn is fit, and he scored a free kick against you earlier in the season, so we'll have a repeat of that.
Oh, is that what we're going with, Sam? Maybe we could just start, just go around the league. Just try. Is that going to be our entire game plan on Tuesday? Just trying to win free kicks at the edge of the area.
Get it in the mixer.
Pick Alex Hunt as well, so he can have one each side.
He won't pick Alex Hunt.
I mean, Courier Dyer is 6'5", but he should be saving free kicks, claiming aerial duels, but he hasn't been able to catch a flu this season. So it remains to be seen what it's going to do on Tuesday if it actually does go ahead.
And what's with Gillingham sort of splashing the cash? What are your hopes for sort of avoiding the drop come the end of the season?
So I've quantified it to 10 wins. That's all we need, just 10 wins. And maybe if we can get a couple of draws, maybe 8 wins, 3 draws perhaps in the second half of the season. But Scott Lindsay, obviously coming from Swindon, I actually am not supportive of the Swindon sort of circle that I've been very critical of Lindsay. I mean, they won 5-0 against you guys based on his own tactics. So there's remains to be seen what he can do with our squad. And he's had a lot of time with them now. Obviously, we're not playing Sutton on the weekend due to their frozen pitch. So I think he's getting more acquainted. But we've had 8 outgoings and loans or contract terminations or so on and so forth. But we've brought nobody in. So it does remain to be seen what's going to happen in the next 48 hours. Maybe we do bring in a goalkeeper in. Maybe we bring someone else in. Maybe we see another outgoing. But it's all really up in the air, actually.
Maybe we could...
yes.
Sorry, Alex. Maybe we could... play 5-a-side on the Astro nearby if it's the pick game's off, because neither squad's got many players in them. A couple of subs each, and we guarantee to get the game on.
What's your preferred position?
I'm purely a spectator, purely a spectator. But that's an idea though, Alex. Mate, you get yourself down there. You won't be called off at the last minute. You just go and play on the local mugger.
If me and Alex are playing, we need rolling subs.
Quite literally
rolling subs.
Sam will be playing as well.
Yeah, I'll last the full 90.
You'll be on the right wing, won't you?
I bet he's used to running quick though.
Did I hear Alex and Sam are going to be at Crawley on Tuesday?
Yeah, so's Mike. We're going to have quite a few down there.
Yeah, but I'll be happy to see it. I'm actually in the last couple 5-10 games now. I've been commentating actually for the so-called crypto bros for their sort of private live stream. Doing solo commentary. I had another guy called Andy Haynes. He was a comedian. He's gone back to America doing his own thing now, but I'm doing solo commentary. So I'm up in the where the box is, just doing all that stuff. So commentate away games. The Newport game, which was very annoying because we had bottled a 2-0 lead. I was very excited. I was very happy we could actually win a game of football, but then we bottled it last minute. Like, damn it.
Oh man. Well, I mean that's interesting. So what? Their own private stream is it, or is it the one that's for Crawley fans who can watch internationally?
So obviously the IFL have got their own commentary team, and then there's one for the holders. So all the NFT holders get their own live stream. So it's just me commenting for those international guys that I've obviously brought into the project.
John, you absolutely come in. Hour and a half away is easy. You'll be there before you know it. You can park in the industrial estate or the little, business park behind. You'll be back on the road in 10 minutes.
Game's called off. You can have a spot of dog in.
Okay. Right, great. I mean, so
please be a game. Please be a game.
I just want to park and watch the football. Excuse me, guys. Just trying to get to my car. Sorry. Thank you. Thank very much. What's the is there any sort of renewed hope for us coming? We're not in a particularly rich vein of form. Are you hopeful for one of these 10 wins then on Tuesday night?
If the Newport game is anything to go by, we've actually, to be honest with you, the squad have been very youthful. We've got the likes of Tom Fellows and a very youthful back four. So the rebuild I mentioned earlier, we're gutting out most of the veterans. Actually, Hessenthal hasn't played for quite a while for reasons unknown, whether it's a squad thing or a legal thing. No one actually knows, but along with Frankham and Tony Craig. And but the youthful side, they've been playing really well. But yeah, it's just a matter of getting squad cohesion. So it actually remains to be seen what I'd see at Grimsby. It could be a draw, could snatch a win. It's actually very topsy-turvy in that sense.
Perfect, man. It's been great. Thank you so much for joining us, giving us a bit of a rundown what's happening. There's quite a lot to catalogue down the M23. We will see you Tuesday night. And good luck for the rest of the season after you face off with us with your what would be, I guess, called the Brumbrella down on the pitch. Nice to see you. Speak to you soon.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Why do we have to play so many games down south? I mean, I don't mind, but you guys must. It's just endless.
There's only Bruce who doesn't live in the south. There's only Bruce who doesn't live in the south, Alex.
Yeah, but everybody else is listening doesn't live down here, so
that's not what you.
Man of the
when you
people.
join a league and it has teams in it from other parts of the country, some of them are in the south. That's why we have to play teams in the south.
Yeah, but they're all in a big lump.
They've all got to move to Leeds. They've all got to move to Leeds.
Do you want to go into the National League North, Alex? Because that's regional football. You get northern teams every week then. That'd be nice.
Yeah, Hereford's playing that, so I wouldn't listen to that. Hereford's still playing the North, don't they?
We'll get a Scunny fan on. They can tell us what it's like.
We found one.
Have they got any left?
That's a debate for another day, though, isn't it? Regionalised Division 3 and 4 or League 1 and 2.
I think it's a terrible idea.
I don't think it would happen now, but
it's a death of football.
They used to do it. I mean, you look at the fixture list. You look at the fixture list, and we've got Barnsley, and are they back in the Championship now? I don't know. Maybe not a good example, but
no, they're in League One.
You get all your northern teams and Gloucester.
Yeah, but how would that work? The Championship would have to agree to another relegation spot, wouldn't they? Because you have to relegate two, like they do in the Conference, into the National League North.
That's why League One is 4 up, 4 down.
When Division 3 was, sorry, I was going to give you a history lesson then. When Division 3 was formed,
please do.
Town actually played in the first season of Division 3, which was actually formed from the south. So they were like one of the only northern teams, if not the only northern team. And then the year later, the Division 3 North was formed, and we went into Division 3 North. There you go. So we've played we've effectively, it wasn't called South, but we've effectively played in all 4 divisions and 3 North and South. There you go.
During the war.
Hang on. I mean, I wanted that again because I was trying to. Oh, here we go. I found it. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you, Bruce. That's amazing. I'm so glad.
Not a problem.
You told us that. I'm trying to. I can't do it. I'm not quick enough.
Desperately trying to fill. Desperately trying to fill so you can make a joke.
I was trying to download the Last of the Summer Wine theme.
Yeah,
the problem is
your piss take went wrong. You'll have to wait for next time.
It started playing in my ear as you're talking, so at least I got the joke, and I can't turn it off.
I've already had to. It was only last week that I had to ask who the pod's mental health welfare officer was, wasn't it? After Sam or Mike or somebody took the piss out of me,
and we told you to piss off.
I've got feelings, you know.
You called me the pod. You called me the pod's answer to the Sun. You get all the.
You are. That's your name. That's you're just called Sun now.
No, Sam's the pod's Paul Pot.
That's a bit much, Alex.
I just like the alliteration, if I'm being entirely honest.
You're doing a little bit of a stretch there, Alex, to be honest. Just a little bit of a stretch.
Bruce, did you ever, when did they regionalise the leagues anyway?
Oh, mate, hang on. Let me have a come back to me.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll have a look.
I mean, when did they stop being regionalised, though? When did they sort of come back together?
Right, hang on. I'll just flick out Dave Werry's book. We were in Division... we played in Division 3 North and South. North, sorry, in the 20s. And then we were back there in the 50s. Really not podcast. Yeah, can you come back to me and talk about something else for a minute? Oh, here we go. Right, we played in Division 3. Yeah, right. Division 3 North. Oh, we won Division 3 North in 55, 56. And I think that was the last time we ever played there. Yeah.
Why did we start in the South?
It wasn't. It was Division 3, but it was formed from the teams from the Southern League, I believe. Let me find the season. Must have been in the... Oh,
When we're a lad.
Yeah, this is. I'm interested now, but I'm interested. It's that interesting, right? The teams we played in this season, in 1920-21, we played Crystal Palace, Southampton, Queen's Park Rangers, Swindon. You lot would have loved this. Swansea, Watford, Millwall, Merthyr. Is that Merthyr Tydfil?
I'd imagine so.
Merthyr Town.
Oh, I'd have dreamed of a Merthyr Town when I was a lad.
Bristol Rovers, Plymouth, Portsmouth, and then there was Grimsby Town. We finished 13th. Northampton, Newport, Norwich, Southend, Brighton, Exeter, and Reading. You imagine travelling to them away games? It cost a bloody fortune.
It would, and you know they'd scarcely believe you.
John Lewis, no, doesn't look like it.
Maybe he did, and he played us all.
Yes, I can hear it.
Oh, good. You played it off beautifully. Thank you.
He does not look happy.
Can't spec.
I'm fine.
Get the dirty, get off.
I've had the piss taken out of me by funnier lot than you lot.
I mean, that hurts.
It's true, but it hurts.
I've had better piss taken.
That's true. I mean, well, I enjoyed it.
Well, it's what the doctor said, Bruce.
I dish it out.
That's
I don't know what you do with your doctor, mate.
I don't dish it out.
Doctor, you can't see a
bloody
doctor. Yeah, you can't see a doctor. Doctors don't exist as far as I'm concerned.
Well, sort it out then.
I can't do anything.
Says the health secretary.
So no, go, Alex, go.
No, it's all right. I wanted to ask you guys how you're feeling about the transfer window. Matt is usually the level of positivity to me. We talk quite on a daily basis, but he's been quite nervous this year, and I thought I wasn't too bothered. A couple of weeks to go, but it seems that quite a few people have. It feels like some people have left reality. Never mind, having some sort of, just being nervous about it. I'm not hugely worried. I think we'll bring people in. I'm sure we've been knocked back by a few, but I also think we're probably fishing in a different pond to what we used to do. We're no longer looking at players that were, surplus to requirements at clubs. We're looking at players that are actually doing well at clubs that they don't want to lose. And as such, there's opportunities where those negotiations get a bit, protracted and take a bit of time, and there might even be a bit of brinkmanship in it as well. So I don't know. I don't know am I being far too blasé about it, or am I, being legitimately on the level?
It's notoriously difficult, but we go over the January cliches if you like about how difficult it is in January in particular to find good players. The ones who have been signed even at the top level, you can sort of pick out a few on one hand who've been successful in the Premier League. I can only think of a few off the top of my head. So I think it's a case of
have they both left?
Worried. Yeah. No, Bruce is back. What are you doing, Bruce? Buried back there. We can't. But I agree with you. I think we're fishing in a slightly bigger pond these days. The budget's surely bigger than it was in the Fenty era. This is really off-putting. This is that I could only see myself, and that's not great. So basically, maybe not a case of, like you said, players don't want to leave. It's just we've got competition for things, so agents can kind of pit us against other clubs if they want us, and not. And that's the issue. I'm not worried yet. I would have liked to sign a bit more, to be honest. Oh, that was really off-putting, lads.
Can I just say, I went for a wee, so I could hear what you were saying, but then I had this moment of dread that I'd not muted my mic.
I went to watch Mike have a wee.
So I'm like, did I mute my mic? I was hoping they couldn't hear me.
You did,
yes. No, you didn't.
Sam thought he was in the doctor's.
Can you fill the cup from here?
Please piss on me.
Sorry, Sam. Carry on, mate.
I know I've basically said what I was saying, that it's hard. We're fishing in a slightly higher pond. I'm not worried yet. If this is the state, I think there will be legitimate grounds to offer some criticism at the end of the window if once again we end up with the perception of kind of panic young loanees at the end of it. But it is tough, and we still aren't very attractive, relatively speaking. I mean, I've been told off on here before for being overly negative and pessimistic, or called
no, we don't mind that view.
No, Bruce called me a moaning main stand mini or something once.
Alex has made a living on it.
Those in the
not that you've remembered it.
No, stuck with me that did, Bruce.
But look, it's a fact we're not as attractive as some clubs, but as I said earlier, it's you just have to do what you can, and I think the improvements on and off the pitch are going to help us with that long term. So it's just allowing those to happen. I mean, as Matt said, you can't judge a window until it's finished, and none of us here have any idea who we're in for, who said yes, who said no, what we're waiting for. So, for everybody to start criticising, you don't have a bloody clue that people have said no. So, you can't get worried because we're a couple of weeks in. Now, I would have liked some more bodies through the door. We definitely need a striker. And I don't think we can use for another window the excuse that we can't get anybody in. Don't think we can use that. But we have to wait till the end of the window to see what happens. I mean, you can see the knock-on effect of club and championship sells player to League One player from that club comes to League Two. So by the sounds of it, we're in a bit of a chain for a few players. So we've got to wait till the end of the window. We aren't as attractive as some clubs. We might have to pay over the odds for some, and we're not going to do that. So we have to make sure that what we're doing off the pitch, invested in infrastructure and the playing experience, and maybe giving 2 and 3 year deals instead of 1, does enough to make us more attractive.
2 and 3 year deals obviously carry a risk. I mean, we've given Alex Hunt a 3-year deal, and honestly, sitting here now, I'm wondering what was that what's that for?
I think he's young enough, and I think he can develop, mate. I think that's a pretty safe investment.
I'm not criticising the lad. I'm just kind of wondering why Hurst signed him, really, because he obviously, for some reason, doesn't quite fancy him. But you have to go back to 2005, and when we waited right until the bitter end to sign Michael Reddy, because we knew he was the guy that was going to take us on to another level. Now, I know that's an example from nearly 18 years ago. That was the case, but it's right that I would have liked, but I don't want to sign people for fun. I mean, you can end up, we can sign Montel Gibson, Ira Jackson Jr. and Kyle Bennett tomorrow if you like, or the equivalents of, but nobody wants that, do they? But I was looking at the list. Apart from Gillingham, and who are panicking and throwing God knows how much money at it, and Colchester, who are in a similar situation, I think nobody's really made that many signings. And if they have made signings, they're loanees from clubs higher up the food chain. So I'm expecting again a very busy deadline day. But I can ask my opinion again after on that. I think something that has forced it as well, sorry, is the fact is the lack of striker at Luton in particular. People have gone, what the hell are we going to do there? Because that really does crystallise how reliant we are on McAtee, even though he's not been playing great of late.
And can I, sorry, so if that's the case, and I think the vast majority of town fans are quite sensible, but it does feel like this year the conversation on social media, which maybe we shouldn't look into too much, is a bit more sort of extreme than it ever has been. Is that just because it's Hurst and he's been around for a while and he's got his detractors and quite noisy ones at that, and they're using this as an opportunity to highlight whatever they see are his apparent weaknesses? Or is it just we forget what it was like this time last year? I do think like Simmons and Richardson were panic loan signings, but I thought Richardson was all right. I didn't think Simmons was, and it almost feels like Pepper was part of the McAtee deal at some point. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels a little bit more intense this time around, and so exhausting. It's like I don't care. Like, you can't believe, like, if you're listening, you will not believe how many town fans are muted on the pod Twitter account, because I just can't be arsed. It's so tiring.
I think there's an element, as we've said before, there's a small proportion of fan base which are loud on social media, and some of them are allowed anonymously. There's an element of it's Paul Hurst, and Paul Hurst has got a history, and no matter what he does, he will get criticism. I mean, some of these people, you go back through what they've said, and like, you're in the playoffs and they're saying that he needs to get out. So there is an element of that, and it's important, you know. I think sometimes it may be people on my side of the argument actually spurs us on a bit to try and balance it out a little bit, and maybe be a little bit too positive or a little bit too trusting. But there's definitely an element of people, it's Paul Hurst and nothing he can do is going to work. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you as well, Mike. Sorry, Bruce, you go ahead.
No, I mean, the thing is, the longer it does take in the transfer window, though, the greater the pressure goes on Paul Hurst, and the more questions that Matt Dean's going to ask and John Tonder's going to ask, and you know, that the longer it goes on, that's only going to intensify. I do think that the fact that we've not signed anybody yet, like you, I think rightly or wrongly, that, you know, we may be not struggling, but maybe struggling to get first targets, perhaps. And then it becomes a question of, Paul Hurst always says that he's not going to get people in for the sake of it, and he's got his first targets and his second targets and so on and so forth. How far down that list is he going to not get his players that he wants before he says, we'll wait till the next window? Because if we don't bring many players in, the ones people are going to explode, aren't they? Some people are going to combust, I think.
I mean, I'd pay to see some of that.
I think there is an element, Bruce, of I think sometimes we have to take what we hear with a pinch of salt, especially with Paul Hurst. But he's not going to advertise, and Jason Stockwood is not going to advertise. Yeah, we've got loads of money. We're just waiting. You know, we've got plenty of money to spend, because agents listen to interviews. Agents do their research, and if they're offering a player an amount of money, and they say, "Oh well, look, he did an interview on Radio Humberside last week, said they've got bags of money. We'll try for another 200 quid." So I think there's an element of Paul Hurst always plays his cards close to his chest. And I never really pay any attention to what he says about when somebody's coming in, how far we are down the list, because I don't think it bears any reality to what's actually happening. I think he just has a standard answer, which is don't give any away, play with a straight bat. And I don't think it has any relation to what's actually going on sometimes. He ain't got to say, oh, yeah, we've offered our number one guy, we've offered him X amount of money, we're waiting to hear back, because why would he?
I don't really understand why Matt Dean and John Tonder bother asking. I know lots of people want to find out about it, but it just, I mean, at best he's vague, and at worst just downright lies. I mean, last week he told us we hadn't signed any, but we weren't signing anybody, knowing damn well Mike O'Neill had probably already signed by that point. So I'm not criticising Hurst for doing
broken
that.
Exclusively on this podcast.
A bit like Ryan Bennett was signing, according to this podcast, wasn't he? I've a broken Alex. But what was
I'd
good?
like
But
to.
it's so. I agree on that. It's so kind of. I'd much prefer talking about players who have actually got here as opposed to players who might arrive. But I do hope for his sake he signs a striker who's decent, because it's going to go. If it comes out at the end of the window and we've not signed someone again, people are going to lose it. And I know it'd be a ridiculous debate, but the debate will begin, and some knives will sharpen. I mean, when I was annoyed at the train station at Swindon, someone said to me about same old Hurst, and I kind of had a less than a friendly response to it. But those conversations will get louder if he doesn't sign a striker
Get
again.
away from me, you pleb.
There's a couple of things about that the Simmons and the Richardsons and signing those players, and people say, oh, you see, so he signed loanees anyway. Well, if the player that he wants to sign full time, or there's nobody around that he wants to waste a 2 or 3 year deal on, would you not rather him go for some loanees to keep us going until somebody does turn up? Because the alternative to that, there's 3 options: sign them, don't sign anybody, or just chuck money at somebody you don't want. Right, so you can't change the fact that if you haven't got anybody available, you need to boost your squad up, don't you? And I think sometimes we do need a striker. Of course, we do. We need more attacking options, and we can't have another window where it's there's no options there. We just have to wait and wait and wait. We really need to start shitting or getting off the pot. But let's not lose track of the fact about how his squad building over the last 3 or 4 windows has been really good. We're not fantastic. A great team in League Two, but we're a strong, competitive League Two team that has been relegated, come back up, and that is now competitive. So, let's not just chuck the baby out of the bathwater and say, oh, it's a shit transfer windows. It's been a shit transfer window in terms of the striker. If you look at our defence now, midfield, I think it's been fairly good.
Yeah, it's a sodding sight better than it was the side he inherited just over 2 years ago, isn't it? It's way better than that. And in every window since it's clearly been better than it was beforehand. So, but I'm not saying Hurst needs to be questioned there. I'm saying that some people will question Hurst, right or wrongly, completely wrongly. But maybe it is a case if if we don't get one this window, that's going to kind of focus on people's minds that we do have to throw a bit more money at it. Maybe people won't like to hear that. Maybe it's very easy for me to sit here and spend somebody else's money, but maybe that's the market we're dealing with in, because it seems from the outside Andrew Niles-Morris is not going. Hurst, he said that he's unavailable. Hartlepool have tried to sign him, but he's staying put. So
don't know why.
It's a real shame. If you'd asked me after 2 months who's been our best player this season, I'd probably have said Bryn Morris or Luke Waterfall maybe. But he got that injury, didn't he, in sort of October, and since he's come back, he's just not looked at it at all.
He looked all right at the start of the season. I do think, though, if he doesn't go in this window, he'll have his deal extended. You can't keep a player that's got 6 months left and say you're not going to a club that want to give you an 18-month, 2-year deal and then not extend that. So I think if he doesn't go, I would be surprised if he doesn't get a deal extended, because he's only here till the summer, and I don't think any player would take that risk. If he does a cruise ship or something, he could have gone Hartlepool and have another year to get over it. So they'll extend his deal, I think, if he doesn't go.
Well,
yeah,
there's a lot to discuss, and somehow without a game, we've got to 1 hour and 13 minutes in a podcast. So if you're still listening to this, congratulations, you are a hardy folk who quite clearly stayed till the end of the Sutton game. Because well done to you. I guess we should really wrap it up, because Bruce wants to go and I'm getting sleepy. And that's not to say anything about the quality.
That's listening to us, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I think just a long old week. Look, it's been great to have you all on. Sam, thank you very much. It's nice to see you, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Mike, I suppose we'll be joined by you as well. See your lovely face at the Crawley game.
Yeah, see you in a car park in Crawley.
Oh, we didn't even get to talk about how stupid the fucking ref was calling the game off at 1 o'clock.
Ref's a prick. That's it.
He is a prick. Bruce 2 seconds on, 2 minutes on that. Referee called it off at 1, even though the club told him the day before and at 11 o'clock that it was going to be called off before that.
Apparently so. Yeah, they, you know, like I think Jason said on his interview on the radio, didn't he? That, you know, the staff that have been at the club for a long time, which you can only assume is, you know, is probably the, you know, some of the grounds team. It ain't going to thaw out in front of the lower. And when you saw the pictures, I saw the pictures because obviously everything cracked on as it had to because the game might go ahead. So people were having the meals in hospitality and stuff by 1 o'clock when the ref was on the pitch. And I saw Jane Boynton and some of them had put a photo. They were in their own fish and chips and put a photo out. And the bit that we saw in the sun with the rollers that we all commented on, the other bit looked like it was frozen solid. It was still white over. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous. But hey ho, are we surprised that the referee isn't very good at what they're supposed to do, or what they're not even supposed to do?
He got a shipwreck klaxon before the ball was even kicked. So you know he's got something going for him. That's a pretty decent. It's a pretty decently going. Right. Well, we'll see you all on Tuesday. Bruce will be there as well.
I'll see you Saturday.
See you Saturday. Well, if I can get a ticket,
crew Saturday. I shall be arriving in Luton 11:30, ready for a few pints. So I
Where are you
hope you're
drinking?
not all driving. I don't
Where are
know
you drinking?
yet. We'll sort that out sort that out when you've been to Crawley.
Yeah. Right. I'll see you all later, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for joining us. We'll catch up on your Bilingo watches next week, and we'll hopefully have someone to talk about being brought in. But until then, see you soon. Bye.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team!
What a magnificent piece of football! Really, really good goal. You can't legislate for that. Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.